6:45, this is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Dhanushka Madhavala, read by Soundithavam. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena says it is important to use the natural resources effectively and protect the environment for the future generations. The Department of Examinations has announced dates for the GCE A-Level and O-Level and also the Grade 5 exams. Tourist arrivals topped 200,000 for the third consecutive month. Tea growers to be benefited from lower-priced fertilizer provided by the government-owned companies. President Wickremesinghe pledges to safeguard Sri Lanka's economic initiatives in the Indian Ocean. In foreign news, Hamas says 7 hostages killed in Gaza. And in sports, Christian Coleman beats Noah Lyles to 60 meters gold at the World Athletics Indoor Championships. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that environment should be protected for the sustainability of the world. It is important to use the natural resources effectively and protect the environment for the future generations. The minister was addressing the construction of the first ever railway underpass to conserve an elephant corridor yesterday. The railway underpass was commenced in the Gatadula area in Galgamoor yesterday. The project was launched under the auspices of the Minister of Transportation, Dr. Bandula Gunawardena. It is reported that the government had decided to commence the construction of the underpasses due to the high number of elephant deaths as a result of colliding with trains. Accordingly, the government is set to identify elephant corridors along railway tracks to build the underpass. The Department of Examination has announced the dates for the GCE A-Level, O-Level and Grade 5 exams. The scheduled dates for the GCE Ordinary Level 2023 examinations are from 6th to the 15th of May 2024. The Grade 5 scholarship exam will be held on the 15th of September and the GCE Advanced Level examination will be held from the 25th of November to the 20th of December. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Education has announced the opening of applications for school admissions based on the re-scrutinized results of the 2023 Grade 5 scholarship examination. Issuing a statement, the Education Ministry said that the Department of Examinations has already released the re-scrutinized results of the relevant examination. The ministry further said that accordingly schools will open admissions for students based on the revised results. Stating that application forms have already been issued to school principals, the ministry urged parents to obtain the form from the schools in which their children had sat for the scholarship examination. The Education Ministry added that the completed application forms must be returned to the school principal on or before March 7, 2024. Sri Lanka tourism welcomed over 10,000 tourists on a single day on the 24th of February, marking the highest number of daily arrivals after COVID-19, while registering over 200,000 visitors during the month. The country saw over 200,000 tourists for 3 consecutive months, marking a robust uptick in arrivals after 4 years. During the first 27 days of February, Sri Lanka welcomed 204,484 tourists, propelling the year's year-to-date arrivals to 412,737. This achievement exceeds the number recorded for the entire month of February in 2023, which stood at 107,639. February also witnessed a consistent upward trend in the first 3 weeks, with over 52,000 tourists and peaking at 55,537 in the third week. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Minister of Agriculture and Plantation Industries, Mahinda Amaraveera, has announced that the government-owned fertilizer companies will offer high-quality tea fertilizer to growers at a discounted rate compared to the market price. Additionally, he revealed that the Agritech 24 Agricultural Technology Vision exhibition will commence today at the Agritech Park in Bhattata, Hambantota, in conjunction with the 37th Asia Pacific Conference of the Food and Agriculture Organization. Addressing a press briefing at the Presidential Media Center on the theme Collective Path to a Stable Country held yesterday, the minister elaborated that the current hot weather conditions prevailing across the island have led to an overflow of water springs. Considering the situation, farmers are urged to complete the cultivation of their entire paddy lands within a single day. President Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasized that the Sri Lanka Navy has been entrusted with the responsibility of safeguarding Sri Lanka's oceanic territories, including the Indian Ocean region. He underscored that the nation's economic initiatives will not be permitted to suffer any harm in the Indian Ocean. Additionally, the President highlighted the historical context of the closure of the Suez Canal for a decade during the 1967 Israeli-Arab War and its effects on the Colombo port's operations. He emphasized the imperative of ensuring the security of the Suez Canal and the Red Sea to safeguard the economic interests of the country's ports. President Ranil Wickremesinghe made these comments while delivering a speech at the Presidential Fleet Review of the Sri Lanka Navy held yesterday at the Trincomalee Harbour. As the Commander-in-Chief, President Ranil Wickremesinghe was warmly welcomed with a guard of honour by the Sri Lanka Navy upon his arrival at the Trincomalee Naval Base. During the ceremony, the President awarded the President's colours to the Sri Lanka Navy's Special Boat Squadron for their dedicated efforts in advancing the country's maritime aspirations and ensuring the security of Sri Lanka's oceanic territories. That concludes local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
The chairman of the Board of Investment of Sri Lanka and the Colombo Port City Economic Commission, Dinesh Virakodi, concluded a series of highly productive sector-specific meetings during his visit to the United Kingdom in February 2024. The meetings, held at the Sri Lanka High Commission and at the Sri Lanka residence in the UK on 24th February, were aimed at strengthening Sri Lanka-UK economic ties and exploring strategic partnerships between the two countries. The chairman, together with the Sri Lanka High Commissioner to the UK, Rohitha Bogolagama, engaged in focused discussions with key organisations representing various sectors, fostering dialogue on potential collaborations and investment opportunities. That came to you in the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight, even though the gas prices in the world market fluctuate, Litrogas Lanka Limited has decided not to effect a price revision for this month. Litrogas Lanka chairman Muditha Piris told the media that the company had decided to continue the gas prices announced for February for this month as well, and came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
Making headlines this morning, Hamas says 7 hostages killed in Gaza. Biden announces U.S. plan to airdrop aid to Gaza. And Donald Trump returns to court as judge considers delay in classified documents trial. 7 hostages being held in the Gaza Strip have died, Hamas said on Friday. The group blamed the deaths on Israeli bombardment and said a number of its fighters were also killed. It said the number of hostages killed might now exceed 70. It was not immediately clear if these deaths were among the 31 hostages Israel believes have already died. There has been no comment yet from Israel, and Hamas did not provide substantiating evidence. Hamas took 253 hostages when gunmen launched an attack on southern Israel on 7th October and killed about 1,200 people. Israel responded by launching a large-scale air and ground campaign to destroy Hamas. More than 30,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza as a result, the Hamas-run health ministry says, and the UN is warning of a looming famine in the north of the country. In November last year, Hamas released 105 hostages as part of a temporary ceasefire deal with Israel in exchange for Israel freeing 240 Palestinian prisoners. Israel says more than 100 hostages are still being held inside Gaza. U.S. President Joe Biden has announced that the U.S. will begin airdropping aid into Gaza 1 day after dozens were killed scrambling for supplies. Quote, "We need to do more, and the United States will do more," unquote, Mr. Biden said on Friday as he announced the U.S. plan. The decision comes amid tense ceasefire negotiations and as political pressure builds for Mr. Biden to help curtail Israel's operation in Gaza. Airdrops have been criticized by aid groups as costly and insufficient. On Thursday, at least 112 Palestinians were killed and more than 760 injured as they crowded around 8 lorries entering Gaza City. Donald Trump was in court in Florida on Friday as a judge hinted she could delay his criminal trial for alleged mishandling of classified documents. Originally scheduled to start in May, the trial has been held up by a legal battle over what evidence Mr. Trump's legal team will be able to review. Prosecutors are pushing for an 8th July start, while Mr. Trump instead wants a date after the election or in August. But despite widely expected, a trial date was not set on Friday. Instead, Judge Eileen Cannon, a Trump appointee, haggled with each side during the 3-hour session over the pre-trial procedures and hearings that may be needed to get the case to trial. Back to the headlines of the world news. Hamas says 7 hostages killed in Gaza. Biden announces U.S. plan to airdrop aid to Gaza. And Donald Trump returns to court as judge considers delay in classified documents trial. That concludes this bulletin of world news.
Development news.
Free laptops provided by the Japanese IT university were handed over to the software engineering students by Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena at a function held at Temple Trees recently. The Japanese IT university provided free laptops to software engineering students of the newly established Lanka Nippon BISTEC Institute with the contribution of funds from Japan. The Prime Minister attended the ceremony and handed over laptops to several students, marking the importance of this significant gesture to bridge the digital gap and LNBTI's unwavering commitment to enhance student access to technology, according to a statement from the Prime Minister's office. That's development news. Sports news up next.
Moving on with sports news.
American Christian Coleman says he is stepping into his prime after beating Noah Lyles to 60 meters gold in their showdown at the World Athletics Indoor Championships in Glasgow. Coleman, the world record holder in the event, clocked a world-leading 6.41 seconds to take an impressive victory. World 100 meters and 200 meters champion Lyles, unable to add to his expanding list of global sprint titles, ran 6.44. Jamaican Akeem Blake beat Kenya's Ferdinand Omanyala to the bronze in 6.46. That came to you in sports news. We take a look at business news next.
Go ekaktiana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Elon Musk is suing OpenAI, the makers of ChatGPT, arguing it has breached the principles he agreed to when he helped found it in 2015. The lawsuit, which has been also filed against OpenAI boss Sam Altman, says the firm has departed from its original non-profit open-source mission. It says instead of trying to benefit humanity, as it was set up to do, it is focusing on maximizing profits for major investor Microsoft. OpenAI has been approached for a comment. The firm was created with the intention of building what's known as Artificial General Intelligence, AGI, AI that can perform any task a human is capable of. That's business news. Economic news up next.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekaktiana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
On to economic news, the Nigerian government says it has demanded almost 10 billion in compensation from the cryptocurrency firm Binance. It says Binance manipulated foreign exchange rates through currency speculation and rate fixing, which have been seen the Naira lose nearly 70% of its value in recent months. 2 Binance executives were arrested in Nigeria earlier in the week. Binance has not responded to the BBC's request for comment. Nigeria is Africa's biggest economy and also one of the world's biggest cryptocurrency markets. That's economic news.
Weather report.
Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in Kalutara, Ratnapura, Nuwara, Galle and the Matara districts in the evening or night. A few showers are likely in the southern and eastern provinces during the morning. Mainly dry weather will prevail elsewhere in the island. Fairly strong winds about 30 to 35 kilometers per hour can be expected at times in the northwestern province and also in the Hambantota district. To conclude this bulletin of news, a recap of the headlines. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said it is important to use the natural resources effectively and protect the environment for the future generations. The Department of Examinations has announced the dates for the GCE A-Level, O-Level and Grade 5 exams. Tourist arrivals topped 200,000 for the third consecutive month. Tea growers to be benefited from lower-priced fertilizer provided by government-owned companies. President Wickremesinghe pledges to safeguard Sri Lanka's economic initiatives in the Indian Ocean. Hamas says 7 hostages killed in Gaza. And Christian Coleman beats Noah Lyles to 60 meters gold at the World Athletics Indoor Championships. On that note, we conclude this morning's news broadcast, and now it's back to your host, Abhishek, to keep you entertained this lovely Saturday morning. Good morning, Abhishek, and it's all yours.